Join the coven. I Hunt Reverse Vampires 2. A story written by Cecily 1987. Part 1. Hey guys, it's Taylor. The OG is back telling the story. I had to let Mika replay her spooky ghost part of the story. It would have been a pain to try and explain what she had experienced. Now you all know why she is acting weird. Lucky for you, because me and Voss sure didn't. We were just choosing to put our trust in our teammate during a really trippy time. Oh, and things do get trippy. Our pug-faced driver put the van in park and spoke. "This is your stop. Let's go in light. Pistols with extra mags only," Voss said as he slid to the back of the van and pushed open the double doors. We still have no idea what we're walking into, but we don't want to spook the client. "No! Both of you stop!" Mika shouted as she jumped in front of Voss and out of the back of the vehicle. She spun around and held out her arms to T-pose us back into the van. "The hell, Mika!" I protested. "Shut up, Taylor. Just shut it for once." "Voss, you shut up and listen too," Mika scolded. "I didn't say anything," Voss pointed out. "Shut up and listen anyways," she insisted. We both held our tongues and waited for her crazy butt to continue. "Just for today, please do everything I say without question," she pleaded with sincerity. Her voice even had a little tremble. "I can explain later, but right now you have to trust me. It is imperative that you trust me and listen to me." "But," I began to interject. "Promise, Taylor," she almost yelled at me. Once again I thought about how cute she got when she was mad. "For today, you promise." "Yeah, sure, I promise," I relented. Her gaze shifted towards Voss, who stared back with a stubborn look. "I know we haven't known each other long, but we're a team. Trust me, Voss, I'm trying to save your life. That's the reason me and Taylor are here, to keep you alive." I didn't like Mika insinuating my whole purpose was to protect the pretty boy with the OP anime powers, but I could see Mika was appealing to Voss's self-importance. Voss tilted his head and his face softened. "Okay, what do you need us to do?" he asked, giving in. "First off, grab the rifles. Put on the tack vests, and Taylor," she stopped and considered, "you're wearing a freaking helmet." So the three of us jumped out of the van fully loaded. Only I had a helmet for some reason. Me and Voss sporting the reliable AR-15s and Mika with a 30-30 semi-auto rifle with a scope. Mika had also bullied the driver to give up the keys to the van. The driver was a non-combatant and was under orders to drop us off and leave. Now he was sulking in the back of the van with a Kevlar vest on and a pistol. Soon as we exited the van into the empty parking lot, we automatically saw the person we were supposed to meet. A tall black woman wearing shades, flowy dark garments, and tons of necklaces and jewelry. She was flanked by two linebackers in tight-fitting suits. One of the men shaded her with an umbrella, and the other was handed a large purse of hers to hold as she saw our approach. "Amit sends their young to help me," the woman said with a sly smile. "Y'all don't look like anything special. You just might get yourselves killed out here." Or outshare, the way she said it with her thick Cajun accent. I saw her posture when approaching, and figured she was gonna throw some shade at us, so I didn't react. But Mika did, her shoulders hiked and her eyes narrowed. Madame Monroe, we do not have the time for all this. I've received a message from the Grey. Whatever you are hiding in the cemetery is about to be under attack. The woman, whose name I just found out was Madame Monroe, was taken aback before studying Mika back with the same narrow eyes. "What is your name, hun?" Monroe inquired. "Mika Delva," Mika replied quickly. "Ah, I see," Monroe said. "I've heard of a powerful group of magic users with that name. They hail from Haiti, if I remember correctly." "Yes, those are my people. So please, madame, listen to me. Enemy forces are either here already or on their way." Mika's words were a surprise to all of us. The linebacker bodyguards removed handguns from their jackets and started scanning the area. Me and Voss did likewise. Madame Monroe stared even more intensely at us, considering us. "Follow me," she said finally before swishing around and speed-walking through the arched entryway to the cemetery, her dark garments flowing behind her as her bodyguards tried to keep in step. Mika took off to keep pace beside the madame and me, and Voss tried to keep within hearing distance of the two women. We walked between rows and rows of above-ground graves and large crypts. Most of the crypts were opulent, with statues of the Virgin Mary, fleur-de-lis, and crosses abound. Their colors were mostly weathered concrete with vines growing up them. A few crypts and gravestones were dark teal with dead flowers scattered everywhere. Giant weeping willow trees threw shade over large swaths of macabre scenery. In short, it was very creepy and maze-like. Another thing for sure, the cemetery was a tactical nightmare. Too many slight breaks, choke points, sniper perches. It would be great for a game of paintball, but terrible for a real firefight. The women were talking briskly back and forth. I caught every other word, but I pieced together that Mika had received a vision about an imminent attack. I also heard we were all in terrible danger and some sort of body would be stolen. But Madame Monroe's face turned to a look of absolute surprise when Mika mentioned a girl named Letty. "Are you sure? The spell from the bridge?" I heard her ask sharply. "Yes, that's exactly what I was told to tell you. I think it's imperative to our survival," Mika responded. "What are we protecting? What is so special about this body?" Voss demanded sharply. "I will follow your lead, Mika, but you must explain as much as you can." Mika and Monroe stopped in their tracks. Mika gave a knowing stare to Monroe. "You want me to tell them, or should I?" Mika asked her. Monroe looked around nervously before waving us over to the relative safety, hiding in the shadows of two large crypts. "The body we are protecting was host to a very powerful entity before the poor man died. The man intentionally invited the horrid thing into his heart, into his very being. But it was all in an attempt to seal the monster inside his fleshy vessel, to trap it for decades to come." Madame spoke rapidly as her eyes darted around the shadows, like she was expecting assassins in all of them. "The monster inside the body can only be free once the body is completely incinerated, completely destroyed." "Why would anyone want to set this thing free?" I asked. "Does the ghost thing have friends or something?" "No! Hush, boy!" the madame snapped. "At first, I thought she was just being a bee, but looking closer, I realized she was scared. It's a thing of pure hate. It has no allies, but theoretically, it could be manipulated to be a weapon." "What sort of weapon? Why would somebody risk trying to bend such a dangerous entity to their will?" Mika asked. "It's because it can absorb things, locking them away for eternity, effectively killing them," Madame Monroe said with a tremble in her voice. I saw the beads of nervous sweat glistening on her forehead as she looked down at her feet. "It can kill angels," she announced in a grave tone. "Why do Mavericks want to kill angels?" Mika asked after a moment of shocked silence. "What?" Madame answered. "No, child. It's the worshippers of the fallen that desire this weapon. If the demons found a weapon to kill their hated righteous brethren, they could shake the foundations of heaven itself. I've been under attack by cultists and shadow men for the past couple of days," she continues. "That's why I was sure that they would attack again at night, when the shadows are deepest. I saw mobs in my vision," Mika argued. "The jerk in a wolf mask, like in Mexico." "Oh yeah," I said. "What's the deal with that guy? A fake vampire cosplaying as a werewolf? What the hell, bro?" "He was a Luna clan mercenary," Voss interjected. "They are a close-knit warrior clan that run toward bloodshed. They are very expensive and very deadly. If you saw one in your vision, then we are in terrible danger." "So, it's a wealthy group of crazy devil-worshipping cultists," I remarked. "Then we must hurry," Madame Monroe spouted, and turned to hurry deeper into the cemetery. After another couple of moments of the group of us nervously following, we came to a black gate around a raised concrete grave. The grave had no markings upon it, but the black gate had hundreds of meticulous handcrafted symbols created by bending its metal bars into designs. "Here is the body. Here is the creature's prison for now," the madame explained. "It's surrounded by powerful glyphs and wards only I can enter unharmed." "So, we set up a defensive perimeter," Voss commanded, scanning the area. "The chapel in the distance will make a good overwatch position for Mika." I turned to look over at the Gothic chapel jutting out of the horizon line at least 100 yards away. It was a good spot. Mika would have a great sight line. Then Mika, who was a little bit in front of me, turned frantically, her eyes jumping all over the place, her expression one of terror. "Taylor, get down!" she shrieked as she launched at me. I instinctively braced against her tackle, but she quickly leveraged her leg behind me, and leg swept me onto my butt. While I fell, she dropped to the ground beside me. I heard the vrip of the air above my head, being cut through by a high-powered rifle sound, followed by the echo of the shot rebounding loudly off the graves. "Take cover! Take cover!" I heard Voss yelling as me and Mika low-crawled to take cover behind the nearest tombstone. I looked back to see Madame Monroe locking herself inside the black-gated area, while the other two linebackers took cover with Voss behind a large crypt across from us. "Did you see where the shooter is?" asked a bodyguard. "Probably the chapel steeple," Voss retorted. "Let me make sure," the same bodyguard said before combat rolling out of cover and sliding behind a tombstone closest to me. Another shot rang out and exploded the grass where he had been an instant before. "Let's hope it's a bolt action," the guy said calmly as he peered up out of cover with a pair of small binoculars held to his eyes. He ducked back down and gave me a satisfied look. "Wolf mass shooter on the roof. Not the chapel. Chapel's shutters are open as a distraction. We need to flank him from both sides. Just watch out for crossfire." I have to admit, bodyguard guy was kinda cool. His calm demeanor filled me with confidence, and I didn't detect arrogance like I did with Voss. "Good plan," Mika said. "I'll keep him suppressed while y'all move up. He may come down to fight you before you get there. At least that's what my visions showed me." The bodyguard guy was about to speak before the top of the headstone he was hiding behind exploded at the same time his head did. His almost headless body slumped to the side, beginning to create a pool of blood. "Move!" Mika said, grabbing me and pulling me towards a larger crypt a few feet away. Obviously the gravestones weren't sufficient cover. Mika straightened me to look at her and said, "His plan was still good. You flank left of chapel. Voss and homeboy flank right. I suppress from a distance." I looked back at the gated off area Madame Monroe was taking shelter in and asked, "What's the madame doing?" "A spell, I hope," Mika answered, looking nervously back at the black gates. "Hopefully it's a miracle." 30 seconds later, I was running through the cramped quarters of dead men to get to the wolf-masked jerk at the chapel roof. Voss and the other guy were running parallel to me a dozen yards across. I was gonna beat Voss there. I would avenge cool bodyguard guy. I had crossed half the distance to the chapel when automatic weapons fire erupted from Voss's direction, followed by 3 rapid explosions. I stopped and could see an enormous amount of white and black smoke swirling up above the crosses and angel statues. I heard screaming. Voss is screaming. I pivoted sideways and sprinted towards the smoke, almost forgetting about the sniper. I ran up to the wide sidewalk pathway that cut the cemetery in half. The pathway led all the way up to the chapel. Another burst of automatic fire made me quickly take cover. I aimed over a waist-high granite coffin into the dissipating smoke to see the silhouette of Voss stumbling around. His bloodied face was dazed and he was limping, with no weapon to be seen. He locked eyes with me and started towards me. "No, bro, take cover!" I patted the air, gesturing him to get down. There was no way he could make it across the sidewalk clearing without being shot. But he didn't listen and stumbled forward like a zombie. I saw a figure moving behind him. At first I hoped it was the fellow red shirt that went with him. But I saw a glint of a silver wolf mask. In an instant the giant figure, bigger than the one in Mexico, towered over him. The wolf wrapped an arm around Voss's neck, while another hand came down and around to stick a 12-inch knife into Voss's heart with an awful thunk. Now, let me just express the next couple of moments the way it played out in my head. Remember, I didn't know Voss had a crazy ghost mom at this point. I screamed in anger, but something else screamed inside my mind. It was a woman's scream. The mental scream filled me with a powerful hatred and grief. Our 2 voices screamed together as the feeling of electricity pulsed through me. "My son!" I screamed in terror. "You killed my boy!" I could have just started shooting at the giant, but I might hit my boy's body. So I began charging. I pulled the K-bar from my belt as I charged. My magic leg exploded underneath me from the sniper's shot, and I skidded face first into the sidewalk. I pushed myself up and began crawling towards my son. The knife had slipped during my fall, and my hand was now a bleeding mess. The electric feeling left me, leaving me with the pain racing all throughout my body. I could feel pain in my real leg. The round must have grazed it. My vision spun from whacking my head on the concrete. Good thing I had my helmet. I stared up at the killer holding Voss's limp body. He threw Voss's dead body to the side and knelt down beside a crypt to look at me. We were yards away from each other, me laying bleeding in the open, and him hiding in the cover of the crypts. "We flushed them out," the wolf said into a mic on his collar. "Kill the sniper so I can put the straggler down." I turned my head to look at the distant chapel. Mika and the wolf sniper had been dueling the whole time, both snipers firing back and forth the whole time. But higher up on the steeple where the shutters to a room were open, a rocket spiraled outwards. The rocket raced over my head and made a beeline towards the graves Mika was bunkered down at. In an instant, the rocket hissed across the large distance to explode in a fireball. The rocket's residue smoke trail showed its deadly path. The explosion rang out, and I felt a twinge of pain in my heart. "It's done. They killed the girl. They have killed my son," a woman's voice echoed mournfully in my head. "Confirm the kill?" the jerk kneeling next to me asked into his mic. He waited a bit and said, "Roger, come on down. I'm just gonna gut this one real quick." He stalked out to me, looking at his combat boots. Reminded me of the time Rafe had taken my leg and how I promised to never quit. I reached up to grab at his groin. I would rip off his genitals before he killed me. His sweeping kick spun me onto my back, and his heavy butt mounted on top of me. I tried to grab at his throat, but he swatted my hands away like I was a child. "Don't feel bad, kid," he chided. "Someone with a deep pocket paid for the lot of you to die today, no matter how good you think you are." He put his knife, painted with Voss's blood, to my throat and sliced it across deeply. I gurgled and shook as I tried to hold my lifeblood in. My vision started to fade as I stared up at the gleaming silver wolf mask. "A couple of kids against 3 wolves. Sucks to suck, sweetheart," I heard the voice say mockingly as my vision faded to black. The next thing that happened was hard to explain. You know when you wake up from a deep, deep sleep and you have no idea where you are? What day it is? It was like that times 100. Next thing I knew, I was behind the crypt next to Mika. I immediately threw up, and I could hear Mika doing the same. My heart was racing and my head was pounding. Once the last of my stomach contents had escaped through my mouth, I looked over at dazed and drooling Mika. "What the hell?" I asked helplessly. What happened?" Mika threw up again, then looked up at me, a twinkle in her eye. "A freaking miracle," she said. "I told you I would get to the action this round, and I'll explain what the hell is happening at the top of the next one."